Hello everyone. Welcome to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. Today is the start of the Mirrodin set of commanders to talk about, and we are talking about Bosh, Iron Golem. One of my favorite commanders, at least one of my favorite decks that I've made for a long time while playing this game, and also one of my favorite commanders for that deck, is how I'll say that. Bosh Iron Golem is, of course, a legendary golem. It is a 6/7 with a whopping mana value of 8. Colorless mana. So expensive. It has Trample, and then it has an activated ability of 3 and a red. Also, sacrifice an artifact. Bosh Iron Golem deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to any target. So, if you sacrifice a 7 mana artifact, you'll deal 7 damage to any target, which is really cool. There are 2 card rulings for this commander. I'm going to really look over to my other screen here. Bosh can be sacrificed to pay the cost of its last ability, so you can sacrifice it and deal 8 damage to any target. Also, if an artifact on the battlefield has variable colorless in its mana cost, X is considered to be 0. So, if you're playing like a Hydra deck with a Hydra artifacts, you're going to be doing very little damage to your opponents, because most Hydras have X in their mana value, so bear that in mind. X will be 0 once it's in play. Metalwork Colossus, on the other hand, is 11 mana, and it's an artifact. So, great card to throw at your opponents. And the reason why I picked this one specifically is because it's 11 mana, but you can pay less mana as long as you have a total of high mana value artifacts in play. So, it's actually very cheap to play, especially if you consider the fact that Bosh is an 8 mana value creature, so that automatically makes the Metalwork Colossus a 10/10 3-drop, which is really cool, just from having the commander in play. Also, sacrifice 2 artifacts, you can return the Metalwork Colossus from your graveyard to your hand, and you can do a lot of crazy shenanigans with that ability just alone. So this is actually a very powerful synergistic card to have in a Bosh Iron Golem deck. Some other cards, and of course the deck that I have built around Bosh Iron Golem, is an Artifactocrats or Artifact Aristocrats commander deck. There are other commanders for this deck that I have built around. However, this is a great commander for this deck because we have expensive artifacts like Spine of Ishsa. We have great artifact recursion cards like Scrap Trawler and Trash for Treasure that allow you to just do some crazy graveyard shenanigans in mono red, which I love so much. I think that is so cool. A popular deck idea on EDH Rec is really much it's the same thing essentially, but it's with a slight twist. You're kind of doing things on a grander scale, and part of that is we're willing to sacrifice Bosh to its own ability because we're going to focus on getting things like Geode Golem and other ways to really play our commander quickly, efficiently, and use its ability often. And Golem's Heart is a great card in this deck overall just because it's a great way to get mana back, life back, especially because artifacts are so prevalent in this format that every player is going to be playing artifacts or mana rocks, like Soul Ring or Arcane Signet. And then lastly is a copy fling deck strategy. I don't know exactly how this would work, but there are ways to get around the legendary rule, and fortunately those are artifacts if you're building with mono red. So there are artifacts that help you get around the legend rule. And then what we want to do is utilize copy spells in red, which is a great source of copying because most red spells that let you copy things are pretty cheap because those copies, those tokens that you create rather, are temporary. They get exiled or sacrificed at the end of the turn or the end of combat. And so this deck really utilizes that sacrifice synergy of that deck, because when you make a token copy of Bosh, it will have the 8 mana value that Bosh has because it is a copy of it, and that's the base mana value of Bosh. So as long as you can get around that legend rule, you can make copies of Bosh, pay 4 mana, fling that copy of Bosh, and deal 8 damage over and over and over again to your opponent. So really, really cool, interesting way to build token deck in mono red. And that is going to do it for Bosh Iron Golem. Very cool card. I love this deck. I love this commander. It's so much fun to play with and build around. And it's very popular on EDH Rec, which is why it has the S tier. I believe this is the last set where I have the previous tier list stuff. So from here on out, as I make slides, I have this one and then one other commander for this set, and then the set review. And then from here on out, I think I've altered the tier list to kind of fit more of the power level and therefore popularity level of the commanders coming up in the future. So this is S tier, very popular on EDH Rec. Go check out this commander if you want to build it, because there's plenty of deck ideas to build around that can fit any kind of budget that you want, and it's very, very fun. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything I missed or any cards I didn't talk about. Happy holidays. As I've said previously, I don't know when these videos are exactly coming out, because I've recently gotten back from celebrating Christmas with my family. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful December celebrating any holidays that you may have chosen to celebrate or not celebrate. And of course, New Year's is coming up, so Happy New Year's to everyone. Thank you guys so much again for your support and for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!